right, welcome everybody. We're going to start with some gentle movements, and I'll invite you first to just start with some organic movements. So in all of your joints in the hips, maybe some like twisting or undulating or circling, just something that's very almost dance-like or organic, moving the spine in all three ways. So our spine moves forward and it moves backward. Our spine moves left and it moves right. And our spine twists over to both sides. And so just explore what feels good. You can come into, a stretch and hold it there, or you can be real loosey-goosey and move. Both are totally fine, but just experimenting. How is the spine today? How does the back feel? The back often has tension, especially in the low back. If you are someone who sits a lot of the day, which so many of us are, sometimes we get tension in the neck and the shoulders, in the cervical spine. So doing some head rolls, some neck articulation, looking left and looking right, dropping the ears to the shoulders. That's all really good because sometimes we get tense because we're pushing our chin forward and then our muscles are doing the work instead of sitting the skull over the spine and letting the bones do the work. And then I'll invite you to also pay a little bit of attention to the extremities. So not forgetting your digits, your fingers and toes, and putting some movement here. You can interlock and roll the wrists, or you can go real big and then make fists. You can point and flex the feet or articulate the ankles either on their own, or if you're someone whose ankles don't necessarily want to move a lot, you can always cross one foot over the other and do it manually and use the opposite hand to point and flex the feet, giving our feet a little bit of TLC, especially if you're someone who gets really cold extremities. Sometimes the blood flow isn't great, and just giving some touch, some movement, some acknowledgement that our hands and feet are just as important parts of our body as our trunk and head and our torso. And then if there's other movements that would feel good in your body, this is your opportunity to play and move and stretch. Maybe doing some side bending if that feels good, or maybe doing some cat-cows if that feels good. Again, paying attention to the spine and paying attention to the hands and feet today. And then when you feel like, all right, I've moved, I've wiggled, I've shaked, I feel pretty good, or at least I've acknowledged the places that still feel a little bit tense and tight. I'm aware of how my body is feeling today. Then we'll kind of get into a more slow-mo. So find your most comfortable position. That could be lying down. It could be leaning back in your chair so you have some back support. It could be sitting on a cushion on a mat. It's up to you, but find a place that feels really nice. You can close your eyes if that feels good. You can lower your gaze, soften your gaze if that feels better. And we'll just arrive in this moment, because so often there's a million things happening, and there's a lot going on in our brains, and there's a lot that's going to happen next, and we want to kind of push whatever happened before and whatever's going to happen next to the periphery so that we can live in this present moment, and in this present moment. There are lots of anchors that can tie us to this moment. One is sensations or feelings. So we'll drop back into the feet, visualizing all of your toes. Sometimes you can feel specific sensations on the feet or the socks if you're wearing socks, or the ground beneath you. Other times it's a little more vague and fuzzy, and that's fine. You can simply bring some gratitude to your feet for all the places they've taken you. And then feel the feet connected to the earth, as if you have some roots that are connecting you. And then from those roots, anchored, see if you can get a tiny bit taller and stretch up that spine that we just did some movement in. And it could be imperceptible. It could be, a little millimeter, but just thinking about rooting down and also growing up, growing tall, being in a proud position, but still comfortable. If you're finding discomfort, that's the opposite of what we want. Find a place where you feel comfortable and proud. And then come to the breath. In and out through the nose where you can. Bringing the breath deep into the belly. Watching the belly rise. And watching the belly fall. Filling up the lungs all the way. Taking another sip. And letting the breath out slowly. And you can stick with this breathing pattern if that's what feels best in your body. Or you can try a little more active breathing pattern with 3 sharp inhales and a cool, slow exhale through the nose or through the mouth. It could look like this. So in, and a long, slow breath out. Still likely feeling it in the belly, using that diaphragm, using those abdominal muscles to help you draw the air in. And this long, slow exhale helps ground us, settle the nervous system, reminds our body that we're safe. So 3 sharp inhales brings up vitality and energy and aliveness. And the long, slow exhale reminds our parasympathetic nervous system that there actually is no threat. There is nothing we need to be hypervigilant about. We can hang out right here. We can be calm. We'll do one more like that. And then let the breathing return to normal. In and out through the nose where you can. Nice and gentle, easy. Let the breath breathe you. And then if you have an intention that you'd like to set, something you'd like to welcome more of into your life, this is a great time to set it. So it could be an idea, a concept, an attribute. And it's nice to set these in present tense, as if they've already happened. Inhaling, I am, and exhaling whatever your intention is. I am in the present moment. Or I am following the breath. Or I am confident things are as they're meant to be. So send your intention out into the universe and let the universe help conspire to make it so. You don't have to hold these things too tight. Simply having them in the back of our mind helps us inch forward towards manifesting that as our reality. We can be very impatient but most things occur step by step, day by day, bit by bit. Come back to the feet, that root. And this, imagine yourself as your favorite plant, a flower, a tree, whatever it is. And visualize the actual roots going down through really nourishing, nutrient-rich soil. Soil that is alive, just filled with helpful bugs and fungus, that's filled with helpful bacteria, that's truly alive and working and nourishing. Let the roots be strong so that yourself as a plant are not going anywhere. So that the wind blows, but you remain rooted. So the rain falls, but you remain steadfast. Throughout the seasons, when it is very hot, when it is very cold, the roots anchor you no matter what's going on in the wider world. And then you as a plant, visualize yourself growing up towards the sun. Your roots keep you in place so that you can play and experience what it is like to grow tall. To have many new leaves that unfurl. That all of the lovely critters come and visit you. The butterflies, the birds. That the rain comes and you drink deeply. And the sun comes and you create energy. What does it feel like to sit up a tiny bit taller? What does it feel like to relax your shoulders down just a smidge? What does it feel like to extend your fingers wide to take up a little more space? To allow yourself to grow. Join me in 3 big breaths, slowly in through the nose, filling the belly, the lungs, the chest, holding at the top for a moment, and then a nice slow exhale all the way out, letting the belly sink. And when you're totally empty, doing that again. Into the belly, the ribs, the chest, all the way full with air. Holding for a moment at the top and then letting it all out gently, slowly. There's no rush. And then one more in your own time. Stretching it out. Luxuriating. We spend a lot of time hurrying up, and I'm inviting you to slow it all down. Plants do not hurry. They take their time with the seasons. If they hurried and they sent their shoots up too early, it would be too cold. And they would be too small, and they would not be ready to flourish. And so they wait until spring, until the conditions are right. Until the earth is warm, until the days are longer. And if they rushed and produced flowers and fruit too soon, the pollinators would not yet be ready for them. And the flowers would go to waste unpollinated and wither and die before they could pass on to the next generation. They wait. The plants are not in a rush. And they do not overexert themselves. In the autumn, they go dormant in preparation for a long winter. If they tried to send out new growth and they tried to really intentionally be green and strong all winter long, they would be fighting against their own best interest, their own nature. They must rest so that they are ready for the following spring. It is a marathon, it is not a sprint. Come back to the breath. Send your roots down, send your crown up. Breathe into your heart space. Come back to your intention. Say it to yourself 2-3 times, as if it's already happened. If you like, slowly bring your chin to your chest, focusing on the breath, feeling how it feels to have that stretch in the back of the neck. Letting the shoulders drop. And slowly tipping the chin up, the nose up. Closing the teeth together, just gently feeling the stretch down the front side of the throat. And then gently coming back to a neutral position where the head is over the spine, is over the hips. And see if you can't find even more comfort in this proud, comfortable position. Tall but not too tall. Settled but not slouching. Where is that perfect combination? Roots sending down. Spine going up. Our last breathing pattern will be some alternate nostril breathing. You're welcome to use the fingertips to close off the nostrils if you like. You're also welcome to simply visualize the air flowing in and out of the sinuses. Everything is this cycle. So we breathe in on one side and then out on the other. Taking your own time, you don't have to go at my pace. And then in on the first side and out on the other. Remembering that everything is a cycle and that when we stagnate, progress cannot be made. But when we try to force progress, progress can also not be made. Things happen in their own time. In and out. In on the same side. And out on the opposite side. Carrying on like this, remembering that you are part of nature, that you must both be rooted and have enough sun, that you must go with the seasons, with your own energy cycles, and that you must have enough nutrients. I'll call you back in a couple minutes. And then wherever you are, we'll do one more round like this. In through one nostril and out through the opposite. In through that same nostril and out the opposite. And then letting go of the breathing pattern, letting go of any control of the breath, coming back to whatever feels the most natural in your body. Rooting down through your roots, getting nice and tall, slowly thinking about moving the extremities, pressing the feet into the floor, wiggling the toes, opening the fingertips really wide, and perhaps stretching the arms out to the sides, to the back, or maybe up overhead as your branches growing nice and tall. Coming back to this idea of moving the spine. So again, maybe it's some side to side movements or some organic movements, some hip circles or some cat-cows or some combination of all. Taking your time here, really feeling into what feels nice, what feels good, the pace that feels good. Sometimes we push ourselves to be fast when what our body really wants is to be gentle, is to be slow, is to be deliberate. And then if your eyes are closed, thinking about blinking them open gently, maybe covering them up so the light comes in slowly, maybe giving yourself a little temple massage as you come back into the space, giving yourself enough time to integrate back into whatever the rest of the day looks like. Thanks for practicing with me today.